I started training in martial arts when I was about 5 years old, and I think I was like any other kid. You know, I wanted to be a ninja. And I guess from my parents' point of view, they wanted me to learn some self-control and discipline. So it was a two-way street, and it all worked out. So I started when I was 5, and now I'm going on over 20 years of training.
Look, jump, and...
Wow! When I was 5 years old, I had a friend who came here, and he had a birthday party here. So my mom came and watched the party and everything. She also babysat a kid who came here, and eventually I was put into the program at about 6.5, 7 years old, and I haven't turned back since.
All together, ready, go!
3, 1, go!
Very good.
I first started getting training because when I was about 4, me and my dad were driving, we passed this place and asked what it was, and we walked in and it was a Taekwondo studio. So we went in and I just tried a class and I really, really liked it. And there was no legit reason why, I just happened to really like it at the time. And then after about a couple years, I switched to the school where I am now, Talium, and I really like it here too.
I came to Talium when I was about 12 years old, and I started out as a student, and then I worked my way up to assistant instructor all the way to full instructor, and then we had an opportunity to actually take over the school. So Bloomfield was an existing school, and it already had a number of students here, and then basically Talium took it over, and then from there I think when we initially took over we started out with 98 students, and within the first year we had it up to about 150 students. So it was a takeover, and I was basically the one in charge of the school.
2, 3, 4.
I mean, I have a very basic principle. The physical skill depends on the individual person, but characteristics of life can be taught to anybody. So 3 main characteristics are listening, respect, and self-control. Whether you're 3 years old, whether you're 300 years old, those 3 things really need to be strong. And if you have those 3 things controlled, life's a lot better. The kicking and punching is a bonus. So what I noticed through a lot of kids signing up is parents have one thing that they want, which is basically better listening, better self-discipline, better self-control, and their wants and what I wanted to give their kids kind of matched up. So I think that's why we were so successful in the beginning.
Well, to me, it was just, going and kicking and punching, but I also had a crying issue as a kid, and my mom thought that this would be the best way for me to get over that and overcome, bullies at school and people picking on me and being able to speak up for myself. So that's why she put me in.
Jag, switch with Gabrielle. John, you're going to switch with Billy. Marcus, can you do it one more time?
Yes, sir!
Okay, let's see. Turn around.
Yes, sir!
Somebody grabs your shoulder. Number 1. Go! Yeah.
Wow, good job, Billy.
So when we first opened up Bloomfield, a lot of people in general don't like change. So when it comes to change, people are, they take a step back or they take a second look at it because human nature says change is no good. So I knew that I had a certain amount of time to show that our change going from their old school to Talium was going to be positive. And there was one student in particular, his mom came up to me and said, "Oh, so you guys are taking over, is it going to be more structured?" And I looked at her. I already knew what she meant, not to knock any teacher, but the school was very unstructured before we showed up, and the mom was very concerned because she was ready to pull her son out. And I assured her that things would be different in a good way. And then I developed a trust with this mom where I started doing private lessons with her son, and we did private lessons every week for at least a year. And putting it nicely, the kid couldn't even walk straight in the beginning. Couldn't kick straight, couldn't stretch, couldn't do anything. Within a year, he became the top student in the school, and he currently, competes in tournaments, and he currently, is held very in high esteem by a lot of parents and teachers here. So that was one big accomplishment that I had, developing that trust with the mom, developing the trust with the student to where she has enough trust in me that she trusts my decisions with her son, so that was a big step.
When I initially started Taekwondo, I didn't realize it came with as many moral values as it did. And then when I came to Talium, I realized that there's a lot of morals that come, and there's like a lot of values that you hold with it, and it teaches you to be a better person, and it made me a better person to be here. So that's what I learned.
Just thinking back to when I was about 5 years old, and both of my parents separating themselves, and thinking, we're gonna move together, and then having my father sit there in a basically empty house saying that he's not coming with us with just a plain mattress, half of a couch basically, and a TV. And he was gonna stay there by himself. I didn't really understand it at the time, but growing with this and having my eyes open just from having a single mom and her pushing me to do this with 100% on her end, it made me realize what happened then, and that drives me forward every day.
Personally, right now, I think I have to improve on like preparing to actually maybe get in a fight one day, because I'm very good with like technique, and I'm very good at like picking up things that they teach me, but it's hard when you're actually fighting another person, so I have to learn more of like coordination, I guess, in that way, so like apply it more. But other than that, I think I pretty much know the basics.
My favorite teaching moment is very hard to choose, but I really love working with the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. They're definitely the cutest students, and they always have something to say that makes you laugh, and they just constantly put a smile on my face. So I love working with them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Everybody has different physical capabilities. The one thing that I expect, no matter how old, no matter how young, how good, how bad it is, everybody's got to try their best. As long as each student is trying their best, it doesn't matter how they look to other people. Within themselves, they know, I'm doing my best, that's a good result, that's what I'm looking for.
Of course, I've been bullied. I mean, who hasn't? But it's just a lot of petty, like, girl stuff. But I didn't let it bother me, because I knew if it ever got physical one day that I could defend myself, number one. And number two, I have enough moral background from here not to let it bug me.
I'll never forget when we first started working together, he always called me the beginner. No matter what, hey beginner, come here. Hey beginner, do this. I don't want to be the beginner the rest of my life. I want to be the man. So I had to work my way up, and like I said, a lot of hard times, a lot of hardship, but in the end, it was really worth it.